education.
You can't even glance at a white woman.
Now, since we're on the topic of family,
Go ahead.
there's a rumor that has to be dispelled. I'm hearing black people going around saying that slavery destroyed the black family. Nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. Slavery didn't destroy the black family. Do you know that we were still getting married through slavery? Jumping the broom in secret, even under punishment of death. We were married during Reconstruction. We were married during civil rights. When do you begin to see the rise of the single-parented black female household? 1970. After they killed Dr. King, the United States government said we must neutralize the black power base. And they determined that the black power base was the black family. It was independent black skilled men and women who financed King, financed Mr. Garvey, financed Mr. Muhammad, financed SNCC and CORE, the Freedom Riders in the sit-in movement. So they said, if we want to crush the black struggle, we got to crush the black family. So guess what they did in 1970? King dies in 68. In 1970, they came into the black communities and de-industrialized our city centers. In 1970, they started shutting down the factories. Remember, up until the 50s and 60s, you didn't need a college degree to get a decent job. Many of us got grandparents who worked in factories their whole life and lived better lives than we're living now with 2 and 3 degrees. They could work in their same neighborhood, and everybody worked for the factory. Good retirement, pension, benefits, medical. They started shutting down the factories in 1970, and then they went into the high schools and did what? Started deindustrializing the inner city high schools. Up until 1970, you could graduate from almost any school in New York certified as a plumber, certified as an electrician, certified as a carpenter, auto body, brick mason, a welder. They took all those programs out. These are the skills that pays the bills, gentlemen. As long as you have a skill, you can always feed your family. But if all you got is college degrees, you might end up in the unemployment line. Why? Because the skills that we learn in college are not necessarily marketable to other black people. I'm a psychologist. Ain't too many black people running around looking for a psychologist to reveal all the skeletons in their closet.
Yeah, you'd rather talk to a white
Exactly.
person.
So they started sending us to college instead of teaching us how to work with our hands. That was the 70s. That was the economic castration of the black male. Now let's go to 1980. The CIA comes in, cocaine import agency. They drop off crack. So now the unemployed black man who has always been a breadwinner, Envy, even in slavery, we were always the breadwinner up until 1970. Now the crack comes. You got a decision. I can sell this crack and try to put some food on the table, or I can smoke it to deal with the fact that I'm no longer economically relevant to the black woman. And let's be clear, the decade of the 70s was the decade of making the black man economically irrelevant to the black woman. We're the only man in America who is out-earned and out-educated by our mates. No other woman in America out-earns and out-educates their mates. And this is not the black woman's problem. I want to be clear. This was systematically done to make us irrelevant to our families. Then the 1990s come, Bill Clinton crime bill, 3 strikes and you out. Mandatory minimum wages, the Bill Clinton crime bill. Now all those unemployed black men who got caught smoking crack or selling crack now being sent off to jail. And then they also give us the ADHD so that we could dope the kids up with the same medicine that sent the father to jail. Then the year 2000 come, George Bush hits us with the what? Faith-based initiative. He finds a loophole in federal law that allows you to finance churches. So now the mega churches and the medium-sized churches in the black community, Charlemagne, are being financed by the government. You think it's a coincidence, Envy, that you don't see no major churches involved in the miseducation movement? No major churches involved in the mass incarceration movement? No major churches involved in police genocide? Yeah. No major churches involved in poverty? Where is the black church in 2017 when it comes to black people issues? They're missing in action because they're being paid by the government to stay out of the struggle. And that's why it's called faith-based initiative. Your pastor is the new FBI agent.
Wow. Well, where you gonna tell me you gonna be tonight again?
Oh man, Dr.UMAR.
Brown Memorial Baptist Church, Brooklyn, New York City. Doors open up at 4. Come on out. All children are free. All elders are free. We're gonna talk about miseducation, male-female relationships, which I might want to touch on for a quick minute. We're going to talk about the upcoming Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. I'm still building that school. And there's a school in South Carolina I just saw the day before yesterday that I might grab.
Okay. I'll help you out with that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
where's it at?
I'm going to tell you off air.
All right. I do have one quick question you can answer in less than a minute or two.
Sure.
We had brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad up here.
Yes, sir.
And he spoke on I don't want to misquote him, but he said that going to school to get an African studies degree is a waste of time. He was like, why spend that money when you could just learn that stuff on your own? He said you shouldn't go to school, spend $80,000 to get a degree in African studies.
which is a premise I've articulated several times.
Okay.
I would largely agree with that because I'm one of the first to say that. And that can be true because when you go to college, hearkening back to my previous comment, I wouldn't send a child to college in 2017 unless they can answer 3 questions or their parents can. Question number 1. For example, Envy has a young son growing up. Number 1, did you raise your son with the discipline to finish at Hampton, Howard, or Morehouse without you being in the same house with him?
Absolutely.
One of the biggest mistakes we make, we don't raise our kids with discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done when it has to be done, whether you like it or not. If you didn't raise that child with discipline, why are you investing $30,000 a year in a child you know ain't got the discipline to finish?
Absolutely.
Second question, is your son majoring in a subject that is economically relevant to the society? So if you get a PhD in African American studies, I'm not against it, but you better have a plan for how you're going to be able to use your degree to earn a decent living so you can pay back all that student loan debt that we've been accruing over the past 4 or 5 years. And then number 3, how is your chosen profession going to benefit the black struggle in any way, shape, or form? The child or parent has to answer those 3 questions for me. Because remember, gentlemen, we got over 2 million African Americans with master's and doctorate degrees unemployed in the United States right now in the soup kitchen. I'm getting emails from lawyers, Envy. Dr. Johnson, I'm a lawyer and I can't find a job. A lawyer? A black attorney? And black attorneys are small compared to the attorneys of other cultures.
But you know what? That's when we as people need to start employing them.
We need to absolutely.
That's why we need the banks.
That's why we need to start employing our own.
Yes.
Stop looking for other lawyers to help, but we have to have trust and hopefully our lawyers can take care of it. I mean, I have 2 African American attorneys, but no matter what I do, I have 2 of everything. I have to have one lawyer.
You have to double up, yes, sir.
I have to make sure there's no mistakes. But
yes, sir.
We have to start employing our own.
And that's why the bank has to circumvent the church for the most important institution in our community, a black bank. If you notice white communities, the bank comes in, and then before you know it, they got the school, the hospital, the supermarket, the manufacturing industry. The bank is the center of the white community, not the church. In the black community, it's the church. And why do I have an issue with that? It has nothing to do with religion. It's politics. The church takes from us, but it doesn't give back. It's not an economic recycling engine.
I agree.
We give the black church $14 million every Sunday, Charlamagne. $14 million Envy every Sunday. If you're giving the black church $14 million nationally every Sunday, how do you explain those schools? Right. How do you explain those jobs? How do you explain those hospitals? That type of money, black America is the richest black nation on earth. There's only 9 nations above us. We're number 10. And all the other nations, none of them are black. So we're the only African population that has the ability to save itself.
We all we need.
But we choose not to do it.
All right.
Dr. UMAR Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my brother.
Dr. UMAR be speaking in gold, man.
Great conversation as always.